Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. This is the second in the series, Why Not Me? The first was, Why Can't I Land a Job? Here, we're going to be talking about, Why Can't I Get Promoted? We're going to talk about people who are employed, believe they deserve a promotion, but are frustrated that they haven't gotten one. A typical lament, some people who got promoted are much less competent and hardworking than I am. Well, what's a good employee who's constantly passed over to do? Following ideas are derived from my new book, Careers for Dummies. First, look inward. It's tempting to blame not getting promoted on factors that are beyond your control, like your age, your race, your ethnicity, your gender, or your physical appearance. And sometimes those are at play. But it rarely helps to focus on the immutable. It's usually wiser to start by looking inward and asking yourself whether, if you were the boss, why might you not promote this person? That is you, of course. Are you too critical or, conversely, too much of a milquetoast? Are you productive enough? Is your work or contributions in meetings lackluster? Do you lack a key attribute for promotion? For example, technical expertise, public speaking ability, emotional intelligence, good attitude, solid work ethic, or the difficult to improve reasoning ability. If any of those ring a bell, should you upskill? Should you change to an employer where your existing package of skills and ability is sufficient for a higher level position? Or should you accept that you are appropriately placed? All right, next, it's time to look outward. If that inward look suggests that you well deserve a promotion, one or more of these ideas may help. Have a champion. It helps to have a champion, a colleague who likes and respects you. Every so often, ask him or her, I've been passed over a number of times for promotion, and I'm wondering if you have any idea why. You might get helpful feedback, or even learn that someone's sabotaging you, if not by overtly bad-mouthing you, by withholding helpful information. You might also ask your champion if he or she might tout you to higher-ups. Next tip, be your own champion. Especially if you don't have a champion, you need to, without appearing to be unduly self-promoting, to self-promote. For example, if appropriate, send a draft of work that you're proud of to other people for quote-unquote for feedback. Quote, run into a poobah in the break room. And when he or she says, how are you, instead of just saying, fine, how are you, say, for example, fine, I'm pleased that my report on whatever is being used across the division. Next tip, get to work with stars. Look for opportunities to work with your workplace's power players. For example, you might ask such a person, I've heard great things about you. If by any chance you could use a little extra help on some project, I have a bit of extra bandwidth and would welcome the opportunity to work with you. Next tip, perform well at meetings. You got to recognize that meetings are an opportunity to showcase your abilities. Review agenda items and see if you can plan to say something that's valuable. Maybe even practice it in advance so you sound smooth and leaderly. Next tip, run meetings crisply. If you're in charge of running a meeting, realize that many people dislike meetings. So if possible, do group communication by email. And when a meeting is appropriate, for example, when an issue is time sensitive and dynamic input is required, keep the number of attendees low. That both conserves human resources and ensures that the most central people get adequate opportunity to participate. If possible, schedule meetings right before lunch or before quitting time, so attendees will be motivated to be crisp. If an attendee goes off topic, tactfully bring them back. For example, that's an interesting point, maybe we'll address it later. You might even write it on the whiteboard, but let's return to the agenda item. If an attendee is dominating or long-winded, again, be crisp. It's appropriate to interrupt in a face-saving way. When the person stops for breath, say something like, good point, and maybe paraphrase it, and then say, let's see what others have to say. And finally, get good at public speaking. Especially at the higher levels of employment, public speaking is a critical skill. Work on yours. For example, you might read the article I wrote called Good Public Speaking Without Fear. Just Google Good Public Speaking Without Fear and the name Nemko, N-E-M-K-O, and you'll find it. These suggestions should up your chances of getting promoted within or at least outside your organization. Thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko.